Hi, it's Katie Bowl. Welcome to Katie Stories number 27. I live on Vancouver Island. That's in Canada. I'm really grateful that I live on this island in BC, in Canada. My heart goes out to my American friends, people in the European areas, all the other areas that are really struggling. I hope you're staying home. Please stay home. Please stay home. This is the only way it's going to get better. If we want to get back to normal life, we need to do this, as inconvenient as that is, and use FaceTime and Messenger, and there's other ways that we can stay in touch with our friends and family. Just really need to keep safe right now and bring this whole thing down. It's funny because I had a thought that during times of the Depression, the one industry that's never really gone down was entertainment, because people need that in times of trouble. But during this pandemic, of course it has, right? Things have been canceled, but it doesn't mean that we can't watch things that are inspirational or funny or entertaining. So instead of talking about the coronavirus, instead of continuing on about my journey healing, I'm gonna go back to some of my stories, some more things that will go in my book eventually from the 70s. So hang in there, because I'm going to tell you some funny stories about some newly released convicts from prison, not just once, but twice, that came to stay with us because of both brothers' connections. But before I say that, I'm just going to say I feel really grateful today that despite my husband being laid off, he's good with that. He's happy not to be out there in contact, being part of the problem. And the money that he'll save on gas and that we'll save on what he would spend to eat out should kind of offset some of his wages once the EI rolls in. I myself, it's like breaking history. Never in my whole life did I think as an education assistant that I'd be getting paid to stay at home, to work from home. And we don't even know what that looks like, but I'm so grateful to work for a school district that's being incredibly gracious and kind. They're taking it slow, right? They're taking it slow with us, not to overwhelm us, not to overwhelm the students, not to overwhelm themselves. Like, nobody's been through this before. And so I think about people out there right now, hustle gently. People are grinding. They're frightened. They're trying to keep their business alive and keep it going. And yet some people don't have an income coming in anymore, and they've got concerns, right? If that's you, you don't want to be maybe spending money in this uncertain time, not knowing how long you're going to need to count on your savings. On the other hand, if you're going to order things online, think about local businesses that you can support rather than the big conglomerates. I'm hearing other things that if you're bored, don't go to big places like Walmart and just walk around aimlessly, You're putting yourself and others at risk. Just get in, get out. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I really hope you're all doing well. I have my Reiki level 3. I can send out healing distant Reiki. It's beautiful. I don't charge for that. If you're really struggling, I'm happy to send you some. I'm going to send some right now. All of you. So, these Katie stories. Okay. About 1972 or 73, my brother Danny, and this is probably like kind of just before the mental illness really came down on him, because I was in grade 4 when that was all unraveling. So during kind of just down in his dissension, my mom heard him come in one night about 2 in the morning and heard the door close, and she knew he'd brought in some people home. She could hear thump thump going up the stairs, and okay. And in the morning, she said, these 2 really good-looking guys came downstairs. In fact, I don't know why I don't remember this. I have an image of them in my head, and I'm not sure if that's my memory or just the one that would be put there from discussing it with my mom all those years ago. But she would always tell the story that these really good-looking guys with long hair and, beards and short bomber jackets and their big flare legs came downstairs with my brother. And Danny took Mom aside because she said, who are these? Who are these people? And he said, they have nowhere to stay. They just got out of Ocala prison. They were just released. And my mom was just horrified, saying, no, they have to go. I'm going to feed them breakfast. And so she came up to them and said, gentlemen, I'm going to make you some breakfast, and my husband will be home at 12 for his lunch. And I suggest you be on your way before he gets home. Because my dad was Bugsy, right? So Mom didn't think my dad would be very happy to see a couple of newly released convicts from prison hanging out at our house. So that's one little story. And then there's another one that's kind of funny. When I was a kid, my mom used to babysit this boy. And I'm not going to say his name because he could still be alive. And yeah. So he went to a school very close by our school. And my mom would babysit him sometimes. And he was beautiful. He was like a beautiful kid. And over the years, him and my brother had sort of lost touch. My other brother, closest to my age. And so around the early 90s, all of a sudden he just showed up out of the blue on our doorstep with a friend. They had both been released from a halfway house in Vancouver, and he had been incarcerated for armed robbery. So my mom hadn't seen him in years, and now they've showed up at the Sariani doorstep, 311 Elizabeth, looking for a place to stay and someone to feed them. And my parents were super kind and, of course, took them in. And while they enjoyed eating and showering and having somewhere dry to sleep, as soon as they were given some money from the welfare, they went, party! And they went and blew it all. So my mom was choked, right? She was like, I can't believe this. Like, no, they think they're just going to stay here for free and eat all our food and shower, and they're going to blow their welfare check partying. And my brother was done. He was like, this is not my friend. I haven't known him for years. This is wrong. Like, make them go. So my mom told them to take a hike. And in the morning, my dad looked out the window. My dad was a boxer, right? Like, my dad was tough. He was in World War II and he boxed, and he was tough. And everybody was, he was a heart of gold, but he was tough. And so he looked out the window and told my mom, love, make them some breakfast. Get cooking them some breakfast. And my mom was mad. She said, Frank, no. I just made them go. Freddie doesn't even want them here either. They're just using us. They had their chance. They went and spent all their money. And my dad looked at her and said, listen, you listen to me. When people go hungry, they fucking kill and they fucking steal. So I'm going to go get them, and you make them a nice breakfast, and we're going to send them away from here with a full belly. And so my dad crept out to the car really quietly. It was like 7 a.m. And they were both passed out with their seats back in this big gold car. I remember the car because I was living in Vancouver, but I'd been home visiting, and yeah, I had creepy vibes from his friend too. It was just, and so my dad crept up to the car, and he just kind of crept right up, just saw them laying there, and just went blam 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 on the window and scared the bejesus out of them. And they woke up, and he said, "Get in the house. My wife's gonna feed you some breakfast, and then you get the hell on your way." That was it. We never did see them again. So yeah, 44 people in all my parents took, and they counted. Kids, young adults, and those two, yeah, that's 2 of those 44. And then the other 2 that had stayed. So yeah, there you go. So 40 weren't incarcerated, I think. Well, probably a couple of those were too. Anyway, I'm just babbling. It's beautiful out here. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're using some of this time to get out for a beautiful walk in nature. Just watch something silly or funny and journal and work out. Eat good. Okay, take care of yourselves. We're all going to get through this. But please stay home unless you absolutely have to. And if you go to the store, go in, get your stuff, get out. Because what they're saying is even like a sneeze or a cough can travel if the wind hits it. And it sounds paranoid. I'm not a paranoid thinker, but it's pretty challenging, this whole thing. So let's try and move through this by doing the right thing so we can all get back to normal. Take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.